Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy, Studel here, and welcome to another game featuring the Dwarfs versus Chaos, featuring Aristodemos the second as the Dwarfs. Now, I want to look at this game and really we watched sort of the Shetland Apache game yesterday, and I wanted to look at another use of this concept that Shetland was demonstrating in the last game. This is another tournament legal game played in a tournament legal way to the letter and the meaning of really the rules, and I don't know if this was played in a tournament, but it's an interesting game, and I'd like to show it to you. Now, really, this is again same concept. There really is no place on this map. I mean, he could have pushed forward to these rocks. I think that wouldn't actually be a bad idea, to try and get in behind the rocks and to set himself up sort of like that. You can make yourself a little bit wider, but this is just 3 iron breakers, 2 on the front and the Norgrim's iron breakers at the back. In the middle we have Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and Thorgrim just has the Great Book of Grudges for that massive +9 melee attack and the 27 melee defense. So this is a 100% defensive strategy. And the Runesmith both have just the Rune of Wrath and Rune. They do not have the Rune of Negation in this build. On the inside, he has the Dragonback Slayers, the Grumbling Guard for the Vigor Aura, and the Peak Gate Guard Hammers, which also asunder armor. And that's sort of the pocket, really, to pull in and to deal with hell cannons and such is the cannon. Just one cannon, and that's just to draw the enemy in. Get them to coming, and of course a gyrocopter. And this doesn't have the brimstone gun. Again, this is just to draw the enemy in. Now, for his opponent's army, he has 2 Marauder Horsemen without the armor-piercing throwing axes. Front line of the Chaos Marauders, the midline of 2 Chaos Warriors, and a group of Chosen without the great weapons, and the back line 4 Chaos Warriors with great weapons, who are the pound-for-pound best armor-piercing infantry in the game. He does have a Hell Cannon, which is really good against blobs, and he has Collect Sun Eater, who also has Lords of the Storm, I think it's called. Yeah, Lord of the Storm for attacks, and he does have Star Crusher and Standard Die. So we'll get things going. And again, right away, the number 1 target this cannon has to take out is the Hell Cannon. And this is, watch this cannon go to work on this Hell Cannon. This is unbelievable. The Hell Cannon's going to shoot right away. Boom. Another shot in. 2 more. Boom. Almost half health in 1 volley. This is making me rethink, do I need 2 cannons in my Chaos build, or just 1? Maybe I should get an extra gyrocopter or an extra other unit. I don't know. But anyways, this gyrocopter is going back and forth. I just want to stick here with the Hell Cannon so you can see that. The gyrocopter is really looking for its target. It's going to come after the Hell Cannon. Really, this Dwarf player has to get rid of the Hell Cannon. That is the number 1 priority. Boom. Hell Cannon gone. That's that. So now Risto can go and change his targets, and he's going to change right away to Kolak Sun Eater. He can take his gyrocopter and try to push it around and get out of the way. There is no magic user in this army, so again, things like this would be quite vulnerable, and you can see he's bringing it back in. He actually did pull it away to get out of the cannon's range. That Hell Cannon had a range sort of up into there, so he just pulled away, and now he's sort of pulled back in. He's going to leave the cannon to draw in the army. He's going to shoot Kolak Sun Eater, but this would be, I want to say, this would be really damaged by some of the spells you could hit on it. Now, they don't have any wind spells, but they really, a spell you see a lot is the Final Transmutation. An Overcast Final Transmutation would do a ton of damage to these. Would it change the outcome? I don't know. But anyways, the cannon's just still going to shoot, and really the gyrocopter's trying to get into position and to help this, and here comes Lord of the Storm. It's going to be doing some damage to this defensive formation, and really, I don't know why they just didn't stay attacking. They should have stayed attacking on this cannon, but so the cannon got a few extra shots, but here come the blasting charges. Got the Rune of Wrath and Rune on the Chosen, so there is only 1 group of Chosen, so this is a perfect spot for the Rune of Wrath and Rune to just start damaging them. and you can see the gyrocopter is going to get into position to start doing a bombing run. And this is, again, the stress of this sort of situation. You can see it as just drawing the opponent to just come head on. Now, he is kind of coming around with some Chaos Marauders, but most of the units are just coming straight in. Now, I get it. This doesn't... A really strong player, this doesn't work on the same way. So I understand that. But as you're learning to play and playing on ladder, the concept of pressuring your opponent in, just that pressure forces mistakes. If there's a mistake to be made, you know, if you're playing against someone like my coach or Orca Boss, he will not do this. But that doesn't mean this can't work. So he's going to come in with the Kolak Sun Eater, try and get some shots in right away. And, you know, still here, Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Now, these are the #1 units that should be in that front line, are just trickling in. And they really do need to come around back. Because not only is this wide open, you have a downhill charge here. But that pressure has got things going. Now the Chaos player is damaging the Gyrocopter. The Gyrocopter is going to go in for a rear charge on Kolak Sun Eater. And turns out Kolak Sun Eater is a pretty nasty guy, and boom, one shot kills both gyrocopters. That's it. Literally, unit has been wiped out. Kolak Sun Eater is no joke, kids. The gyrocopters are large. Kolak Sun Eater is anti-large. No joke. Do not get your gyro. Do not let him attack your gyrocopters. But in comes Kolak again, and I'm just going to really try and get in there and get some cinematics. But because you're going to see Thorgrim going in there, and that's the one nice thing about Thorgrim, is he does have a lot of mass, and he can sort of stand toe-to-toe with Kolak. Now, Kolak is going to kick the crap out of Thorgrim over time, but Thorgrim can get some shots in. And you can see, with the other units, the Dragonback Slayer, Kolak Sun Eater is having to pull out. Thorgrim has pushed him away, still has a ton of his health. Remember, all these units have +9 melee attack. Norgrim and Ironbreakers at 45, the Grumbling Guard at 45. We're the Peak Gate Guard, they're probably at like 66 or something like that. 63. And this whole concept is actually a very strong way to use Thorgrim Grudgebearer, who has these massive buffs. And you can see, really, in comes Kolak again to try and get some shots. What these Marauder Horsemen, they're getting free shots. Really, the only thing they should be shooting at is Thorgrim and try and get rid of him completely. They really need to focus Thorgrim down, because he is giving all his units a massive improvement in their combat stats by doing what he's doing. And you can kind of get in there, and you see, really, Peak Gate Guard have come down here to fight. And, you know, maybe he's starting to come in at Thorgrim right now, but Kolak has to leave, and we'll just... Okay, I'll see if I can get a close-up of that. But just a really great fight going on here. We do have Chosen. The Marauders with great weapons are sort of mixed in. Or not Marauders, Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but here are the Peak Gate Guard. This is where you have really good synergy, because you have the Runesmiths in here, you have Thorgrim, who doesn't have a ton of armor piercing, and you have Ironbreakers, and the Peak Gate Guard are Sundering Armor, which is letting all of them be a lot more effective. And you see Kolak is all the way off of here by himself, because he doesn't have a whole lot of health, and he has to sort of stand by and watch this fight happen. You know, we got the Grumbling Guard here, more Ironbreakers here, and, you know, you can see they're trying to come in and get some shots, but this is the Dawi infantry will just hold forever. This is the beauty of Dawi infantry. If you don't have an answer for this when you go to fight the Dawi, you know, you're periodically going to get stuck in situations like this. But again, I just wanted to show this because I love the concept of doing this. I mean, I like you know people. A lot of people really don't like the Dawi. I love the Dawi. A lot of people are like, oh, defensive geometry. But listen, I love defensive formations and what they look like and how they operate, and that's how armies have always operated, with formation fighting, and that's the best way to operate. And, you know, it's not super dynamic, but that's not the Dawi. And you can see now everything is starting to waver, you know, as the army losses start to kick in, you know, and the Dawi are still in really good shape. The balance of power is moving over. These Chaos Warriors are gone. The Chosen have been beat up. The Chaos Warriors with great weapons are going down here. And you can see here the wavering comes. Kolak Sun Eater is losing his ability to keep fighting, and everything routes. And you can see the Dowie formation. I mean, it's still essentially there. You can see it. And nothing's really moved. And, you know, we have a lot less troops, but that is what it is. And you can see here the Dragonback Slayers are going to go after the Hell Cannon crew. Again, let's just take a good look at these guys because, man, Chaos Dwarves. I wish they had their funny hats. So that's the end of the game. So we're going to go look at sort of the stats. I like showing off. I mean, I like all Dowie games, and I like all dwarf players, and I like seeing how people think about the dwarfs and try and put together dwarf armies, and it's all very interesting to me all the time. So I never find a Dowie game uninteresting, if you will. And I know a lot of you guys that watch that are on the channel feel the same way. You know, good or bad, good, bad, or ugly, you like watching the dwarfs in action. And you know, here's a really, again, this is a tournament legal build and an interesting way to do it. Again, a Thorgrim Grudgebearer build. Those tight elite builds are really well suited to him. That's like the most elite build I have in my lineup is versus the Vampire Counts, and it has Thorgrim Grudgebearer. And you can see 30 kills, 13, 12 for the Runesmiths, not really important. Really, the Grumbling Guard, 92, did a bunch of killing. The Dragonback Slayers helped beat up Kolek. 52, 60 for the Ironbreakers. The key there is, though, they had tons of health. The 99 for the Peakgate Guard, who are awesome. 68 for the Norgrimlings Ironbreakers. 14 for the Gyrocopter, didn't really matter. 12 for the Cannon, didn't really matter. All the Cannon had to do was kill the Hell Cannon, and mission accomplished. If there had been 2 Hell Cannons, maybe the 1 cannon could have done that. And that's why, you know, I have 2 cannons in my Chaos build. Maybe I only need 1. I don't know. Like with 2 cannons, you kill these things so fast, but then, you know, Chaos will collapse in on your cannon. So I might be better off to go with 1 cannon and 2 gyrocopters instead of 2 cannons and 1 gyrocopter. Or I go with I could bring in one other unit sort of at 800 rather than that cannon. I really do need to look at that because I bring the cannons very specifically to deal with Hell Cannons and big stuff like Kolek. Now, when you get Sithoril and other stuff, it's not as good. But cannons are also pretty good at beating down chariots. You know, if they hit against the chariots, and you know the gyrocopters can do a job too, but the cannons are much faster. So I don't know. Anyways, for literally God on the other side, normally I don't really focus on that. That's pretty funny. 69 kills for Kolek Sun Eater, 3, 13, and 4 for the Chaos Marauders, 9, 10 for the Chaos Warriors, and this is really 10, 15, 17, and 9 for the Chaos Warriors with great weapons. They really got beat down because they didn't go around. 16 for the Chosen, 5 and 11 for the Marauder Horsemen, and 0 for the Hell Cannon. So, the results aren't as important to me as the concept, which is another demonstration of a tournament legal build that also follows the tournament rules of engagement, which I really, really do like. It's not just like some sort of when the first game first came out, I saw a really funny sort of cheesy dwarf build, which had just Ironbreakers in a block with the leader in the middle, and I don't even think it was Thorgrim, and then a whole bunch of gyrocopters. The block would hide, and once it was found, it was really hard to get through, and the gyrocopters would focus down, snipe out the leader, and then the caster and stuff. I don't know. This is not that. This is sort of a concept which I do like and find interesting, and I mean, I love watching games like this. I love all Dowie games, but anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys. Now, I showed really 2 games that demonstrate the concept, and you can see these operating in my recent games with just the 1 gyrocopter and sort of being more static instead of pushing all my units forward. I take my time, and I've really been trying to keep up with my coaching and learning. Really, I don't need to force the match in terms of running my troops up to my opponents. I can force the match by forcing them to me, and you can see another very clear demonstration of it. That's why I love this game, aside from the game, just that it's a clear demonstration of the concept, and that's more important than the results or how everything played out. I mean, I get it, there was no caster. Final Transmutation would have been great. a full surround, and then engaging with the Marauders, and then going in with the great weapons, and then finally coming in with the basic Chaos Warriors would have been good. Focus the Marauder Horsemen on Thorgrim or the Runesmiths. It could have been played better. That's obvious, but that it wasn't demonstrates the concept more clearly, which I actually quite like. So would love to hear from you down in the comments. What do you think of the build? What do you think of the concept of formations? I know a lot of you also love formations and are historical war buffs as well. And with that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.